Well, hello everybody. Quite a few people asked me to do a video, and I thought I'd go ahead here to show you how I've been making my black powder. It's far simpler than I ever thought it would be. Growing up, I always think it's some magic recipe, and only a factory could make it, but it's actually pretty simple. The potassium nitrate I purchased from Seed Ranch, it's a fertilizer, and the charcoal I made from white pine. I got some white pine 2x4s, and I cooked them down, made the charcoal. And the sulfur, it was actually a garden sulfur called High Yield, and it only had 91% to it, so I had to purify it because I was having troubles. It was leaving behind some residues when I burnt the powder, and I didn't like it, so I purified it. That seemed to have corrected the problem. And the dextrin over here was cornstarch you cook down. You put cornstarch on a pie sheet at like 400, I think it is, and you cook it for about 15 minutes. You turn it over and you cook it, you turn it over, you cook it, until it's all a perfect golden brown. So that's all the chemicals. Excuse me. I actually ordered these off Walmart.com, and they came in the mail, so it was pretty easy to do. In the future, I won't buy garden sulfur. I'll buy pure sulfur. There's really no difference in price. It's easy to get, at least where I live. So in here, this is my vibratory tumbler I have. I know it's not the correct thing to do, but it does work pretty well. Now the recipe I have is 75, 15, 10, and 5. As somebody brought up, that's 105%. I know that. That's the one I got. So right now, this mixture I did 1,000 grains of potassium nitrate, 150 grains of the sulfur, of the charcoal, and 100 grains of sulfur, and 50 grains of the dextrin. Now, the dextrin is 5% of the 1,000 grains. Some people I've read add 1% dextrin, and I'm thinking that might be of the total weight they add it to. I'm just doing 5% of the potassium like I did the other mixtures, which gives me the 105%, which could be confusing to people. So I put the balls in here. I had more balls, but I've been shooting them in the evening as I've been testing my powder, so I'm kind of running out. I like to have about twice as many in there to really get it milled good. The vibratory brass cleaner here, it had a metal rod here which holds the cap on, and I had concerns because it had a metal wing nut, so I removed it to try to prevent any possible source for heat or static. So all I do is I put the lid on here, and I use this heavy plumbing tape, and I tape this thing down really good. I make sure I got a great seal on here, because I don't know if it's exactly true, but I think the reason there is so many explosions, well, not so many, but there has been, is from the dust. Because when you mill this, it becomes like talcum powder. It's a super, super fine powder. And as many know, flour mills have blown up in the past, because if you get the right, fuel to air mixture with that real light powder, it can definitely detonate. So I don't really have a lot of fear in that. I do feel if I seal this to keep that inside, there's no way they can potentially go in the intake and light this thing off and burn my house down. Even though I don't have a lot of fear, I still put it outside. I don't want to burn my house down, or I don't put it near people, because there could be an issue. I'm not sure if it ever did light, if it would actually blow up, because the powder's so dense in there. It really kind of burns kind of slow before you granulate it. Once you granulate it, it goes off like a bomb, just poof, like it's supposed to. But in this heavy powder state, you light it and it burns more like smokeless to me. It's kind of a slow burning powder. So I really don't think this thing would blow up to say. Maybe the top would come off and it would burn down and be a little scary, but I'm not sure. I'd actually mentioned to somebody the other day, I actually took a half pound of the dust and lit it on fire to see what it would do. And all it did was make a whole lot of fire and a lot of smoke, but it didn't have that explosive poof like if you lit this right here, the granulated powder. So that being said, I milled this for about 4 hours with this amount. Yesterday I did twice as much, so I did it for about 9 hours. I'm not exactly sure how long it needs to be done for. I've tried milling some other stuff for 24 hours, because I had the wrong charcoal. I was trying to use hardwood charcoal from barbecue. And no matter how long I milled that stuff, it just wasn't perfect. Now I made this stuff here with the white pine, and you can really see the difference. It's really fine and kind of sparkly looking instead of a dense, heavy powder like the hardwood done. So I think it seemed to be about 4 hours. You know, I do about 8 hours with a full load just to make sure. The load I did yesterday was double this, and I did it for 9 hours, and the product came out great. So this is the first part of it, and next I will get this all milled up, and then I will make a video on how I combine the chemicals and I granulate it. Alrighty.